Well, we've all heard the news. AAA is fucked for fairly obvious reasons. I mean, look at all the layoffs, the project cancellations, big projects, ambitious projects getting cancelled left, right, and center. For example, the one by ZeniMax. These guys were working on a massive MMO. A massive MMO, that's redundant. Uh, yeah, but a big budget MMO. And this is, again, a studio that is more than capable of it. But yeah, enough about that. There's also the case of incomplete and broken games, microtransaction, and this disproportionate focus on live service games. It's horrible. But yeah, what this hurts is essentially the art form of video games. That's essentially what it is. Now, it's an art form. It was never supposed to be as corporatized corporatized as it is within the AAA industry. Is that a word? Corporatized, made corporate. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a word. So yeah, point is, it was made to be very corporate in nature, which it's not supposed to be. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. It's supposed to be made by people who are truly passionate about what they're working on. Earning money is supposed to be just a byproduct of that passion. But that doesn't come off anymore within the AAA industry at least. Of course, the best representations of that are within the AA or the indie scene right now. Always have been, in fact. But AAA is suffering. But within that bucket of AAA, there is a studio, right? Kojima Productions, made by the legend himself, Mr. Hideo Kojima. A studio that's still willing to risk it all for how passionate it is about the art form. It's willing to take some massive risks, like it did with the first Death Stranding. It was a massive bet. And somehow it paid off. I initially did not think it would pay off because the first game was polarizing, right? I myself was initially part of that bucket that considered it what do you call, a walking simulator essentially. But I'm glad I was able to change that perspective. I think one of the things that helped me change that perspective was one of Shillup's videos. Skill Up. Skill Up. He's been using that Shill Up thing for so long. I forgot. It's actually just Skill Up. It's just Skill Up, yeah. Well, the point is, he had a review on his page for the first Death Stranding. And I'm pretty sure that review could convince anyone to go and play the game. It was so eloquently put, everything, explaining every bit of the game and how what Kojima's vision was with every aspect of it, right? And this is a man who was responsible for the Metal Gear Solid series, so that was maybe the one part that gave me the slight push, enough of a push to try it, I guess, give it a chance, because this is the guy who made Metal Gear Solid, right? Did I say Metal Gear Stranding? No, I said Metal Gear Solid. So I was always concerned, like, this seems boring. This looks like a walking simulator. Why would I want to play this? But I'm glad I did. So I did eventually end up playing it. And naturally, I was blown away. I mean, I don't throw this term around so lightly, but the fact that I'm sitting here making my first video talking about this game, it's because it was, in fact, a life-changing experience. A life-changing game. And there's a reason for that, right? I mean, it was one of those rare games, one of those rare AAA big budget games that wasn't about killing, for a change. This is not a game about destroying. This was about helping others. This was about building connections, supporting strangers online, which is inconceivable. I get that, but that's what Mr. Kojima was trying to push. A connected world, some positivity for a change. Look, I enjoy killing in video games as much as the next guy. I always will, killing people, things, monsters, aliens, and whatnot. But this game was different. This game had you focus on rebuilding a broken world. And I think that's beautiful. How it handles that is by giving you the control of Sam porter bridges, and you're supposed to just be a delivery man. I mean, that's absurd. It sounds absurd for a video game, but here it is, and it's fucking amazing. It's a brilliant video game, despite being a delivery simulator, man. What the fuck? But yeah, you're delivering packages from point A to point B, but the journey from point A to point B, that's where the magic is, right? Because you're going through all this shit. You set out with a bunch of packages. You know, you're already walking funny because these packages are heavy. But on the way, you do come across stray packages which you may want to pick up. It's optional, of course, but picking them up will help the people that you're delivering to even more, because these are probably stray packages that belong to them. Point is, it gets heavier. Now, with a bunch of packages towering on your back, you're supposed to make it all the way there by, possibly crossing rivers that might be overflowing. Now, how do you cross those rivers? You're hoping, and I don't have a ladder on me. I wish there was one to cross this river. And then you look around, maybe there is one. And that usually you will find one because another porter in their own game left it there. Not just to help themselves, but with the intention of also helping other people. That again is just, that's a great thought, right? So everything you put in place in this game, be it structures, objects, tools, are with the purpose of helping people, not just yourself. You're helping porters that come after, for the ones who come after. That's an Expedition 33 joke. You'll get that when you play it. And if you do, I love you and I respect you for having great taste in gaming, by the way. So yeah, play Expedition 33. I'll probably make a video about that. I don't know. We'll see. So here comes a game that's trying to bring out the best in us, make us feel like human beings again, but at the same time realizing that, we are creatures with tiny attention spans right now, and, we need immediate dopamine hits. There needs to be some feedback to it. And that feedback comes in the form of likes. So essentially, whenever someone uses an object you've left, something you've created, or even just a sign or an emoji you left on the floor to encourage people, whenever someone's affected by that, you get feedback in the form of likes, which, it works. It works. It does scratch an itch in that part of your brain. And that makes you want to help people more. Somehow Kojima figured out how to make helping people be fun. And that's revolutionary. Now, coming back to the journey. Now you're on this journey with a lot of packages. You need to cross a river. You need to climb down a ledge, probably using some equipment. Or you probably jump down, or you probably jump across a gap. You need to find, or you probably need to find a way across. Just circle around it somehow. If you see a way, you probably need to escape from bandits on the way because they're trying to steal your package. But you do have guns for that. But those guns are like, they're non-lethal. You're not killing them. You're just knocking them out. Which, I mean, yeah, whatever. But the worst part is the BTs, those ghost-like creatures. Escaping from them, if you come across them, that's the tough part. I mean, it's not as tough in the late game if you're experienced with the game, but if you're new to the game, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. But a fun challenge. If you do get caught by them, you will end up in a boss fight situation. You will have to fight against these massive black dog creatures. It's a fun fights. I mean, they're challenging, but they're fun fights. Not that challenging, also not like Dark Souls or anything, but the fun. And despite all that, when you go through all of this shit and you finally, walk across, walk towards this cliff and you see your destination. People who've played the first Death Stranding and you see the Port North City, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? And the music hits. That's when some of the most beautiful music hits you right in the feels. And it signals that this is the home stretch. And that's where the beauty of the journey really comes in. And this is the only studio that's been able to do something like this. something new, make us feel new things, make us do new things in a video game after a long time. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is Death Stranding, Kojima Productions, right now represent the hope within the AAA industry that, there's still passionate individuals here. There are still people here who are willing to risk it for the art form. That's that's worth sticking around for.